Do you feel like you're hurting yourself with too much mouthpiece pressure? Do your chops feel inconsistent from day to day? I have a simple practice tip to help you. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Brian from Airflow Music. Alongside publishing our books for brass players, we're releasing a ton of videos with tips to make brass playing easier for you. If you're new here, please subscribe to the Airflow Music channel so you're notified of all our videos. This video is part of the Trumpet A-Z series. First up, I want to thank you all for the response to my last video, F for falsetto. A bunch of you watched it and commented. If you haven't seen it yet, it's linked on screen, up here, or in the description below this video. One comment in particular brought this week's content to mind. Matthew Rodriguez wrote, "Not trying to trash or discredit you, but I noticed the mouthpiece pressure increase as you ascended. I've also noticed that when I get air above G on top of the staff, which happens almost always now, and just increase the pressure slightly, the note I'm going for squeaks out. Do you think pressing beyond the point of forming a seal is valid or detrimental to one's progression? A P for pressure video would be interesting." Thanks for that, Matthew. I'm always open to discussion on the topics I present in these videos. With regards to mouthpiece pressure, it's important to remember that there's no such thing as no pressure. If your mouthpiece is in contact with your lips, and it has to be to play, then there's already some pressure. In that demonstration, there was a noticeable increase as I played up to the high G and the double high C, and perhaps a little more than I'd usually prefer in the practice room. But nonetheless, I was still playing pretty easily. I don't think a little additional pressure, particularly in a less familiar register, is necessarily a bad thing, provided you keep it to a minimum. In fact, if you can do that, it tends to result in a balanced and secure feeling in the embouchure. I actually have a practice tip to help you develop it. That's why G is for grip. The feeling of gripping the mouthpiece with the lips as you play isn't experienced by everybody, usually because they're a little out of balance and playing with too much pressure. Rather than feeling a grip, it's more like mashing the mouthpiece into the lips to maintain a seal. This leads to the sort of inconsistent response reported by many players here in my studio. Although the root cause of excess mouthpiece pressure is overblowing, it also tends to quickly become habitual. We tend to get into the habit of pulling the horn into our face more than we need to. After all, a bit of extra pressure seems to help, as Matthew mentioned in his comment, but gradually we can start to overdo it. It doesn't matter too much in the low or middle registers, unless we're really overdoing it, but it can get painful quickly up high. And once the lips get injured and we start to swell, we tend to need to pull in even a little bit more to keep the seal, and it turns into a vicious cycle. To keep in the habit of not pressing too hard, I like to adjust the way I hold the trumpet for some of the time when I'm practicing. Rather than wrapping the fingers of my left hand around the valve casing, instead I rest the trumpet on my hand like this, with my thumb in between the bell and the lead pipe, and the bell section resting along the top of my fingers. This keeps me from having enough leverage to pull the horn inwards while I'm playing. Then, so I can still practice things with the valves, I put my fingers up on the valves like normal, but keep my pinky finger out of the ring or the saddle, and don't have my thumb in contact with the lead pipe. It's a little more awkward, and it does make it a little harder to play in the upper register, unless you're very efficient with your air and compression use. But practicing this way can help you equalize mouthpiece pressure, develop the sort of light grip that we're looking for, and help create a new habit of not strong-arming while you play. You can practice almost anything holding the trumpet this way. Personally, I prefer to practice bending exercises, flexibilities, and technical studies like my combination drills or Clark studies. If you have any questions about this video, or anything else relating to brass playing, please comment below. If you found this video helpful, please share it with your friends, either on Facebook or Twitter, or by telling them about it. And if you'd like to support these videos, please consider going to airflowmusic.com and purchasing a book or a lesson. And don't forget to subscribe to the Airflow Music YouTube channel so you're notified of all of our videos. I'll see you next time. Now, go practice.